If you have watched or listened to this podcast at any point over the past 10 years, you've probably heard me use the phrase unscripted. I do all of these podcasts predominantly unscripted because I think, at least for me, they come off more genuine doing them without a script than saying writing something out and reading it off a teleprompter like I'm reading a book report in high school. I talk about the things that I'm passionate about, and I think without writing out a script, they come off more, I don't want to say believable, but with more emotion than if I was to sort of robotically read a script about it. That being said, a couple of years ago, I sort of brushed over what I want to talk about on this episode, and that's talking about the Hynek scale. If you don't know what the Hynek scale is, you've heard of it. I guarantee you, even if you don't know what it is, you've heard of it. The Hynek scale was created by J. Allen Hynek that kind of classifies UFO sightings. Close encounters of the first kind, close encounters of the second kind, the third kind, the fourth kind. Now there's the fifth kind, but he didn't create that one. That is more of a modern creation. He didn't have a lot to do with the fourth kind either, but at least the first, second, and third kind were creations of J. Allen Hynek to sort of classify degrees of UFO sightings. And like I said, a few years ago, I sort of talked about it, but I didn't really get into detail. And I've been thinking about it ever since I did that podcast that I really should break them down one by one. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about, well, we'll go the four phases because I have a lot to say about close encounters of the fifth kind, but maybe I will at the end. I guess that's the beauty of doing things unscripted. I don't plan on talking about it, but I inevitably end up talking about it. So we'll kick things off with close encounters of the first kind. And if you're unsure exactly what that is, it's your basic UFO sighting that people see in the sky. These three now famous videos that you are watching, the FLIR, the Go Fast, and the Gimbal, are cases of close encounters of the first kind. It's when somebody has a visual sighting of something they cannot explain. Whether they think it's an alien spacecraft or not, that's up for interpretations. We've talked ad nauseum about the idea of 95% of most UFO sightings are explainable or have a rational explanation. It's that 5% that keeps everybody coming back. It specifically keeps me coming back. Now, along with those, another famous one is this one right here, the classic Arizona lights phenomenon from the late 1990s. And can you believe that we are quickly coming up on 30 years since this has happened? That is insane. Anyways, these are a quintessential close encounter of the first kind. But I don't just want to talk about the idea of a close encounter of the first kind because, like I said, about 95% of the time, including the sighting that I had when I was a teenager, quite possibly could land within that 95% of having some kind of a rational explanation. It's the 5% that really keeps drawing me and most everybody else back to the interest in what exactly are UFOs. But I think ultimately I want to dive down into the bedrock of Close Encounters of the First Kind by using one of the most famous of all Close Encounters of the First Kind cases. And I think that will better help explain the point that I want to convey when it comes to it.